Hello, everyone. This is Marius Tănescu, Regional Vice President with ACN. I'm so excited that today we have a chance to learn from one of the best in ACN, Mr. Bash Bokhari. He's a Senior Vice President with ACN. He's a Circle of Champion in Europe. He has a huge experience with ACN. And not only that, everybody loves him, loves his excitement, his enthusiasm, and of course, his love for the business and for people. I think he has one of the best organizations in the world, and that's why I'm excited and honored to have Mr. Bash Bokhari with us on this special Zoom interview. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting my invitation. I'm honored to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Marius. You're so kind and I'm humbled. Thank you.
I would like to ask, first of all, your story. Can you tell us your story?
Okay. It's a very simple story. You see, when I was young, my father told me, son, go to school, get a degree, find a good job, and you will live happily ever after. So I believed my father. I studied aeronautical engineering, joined the Air Force as an officer. Then I went to work for the government, and finally I worked in the airline. And at this point, about 12 years ago, I was invited by a friend to have a coffee. Mm-hmm. So she it was a simple invitation. And she invited me, she says, Bash, let's have coffee. And of course, when your friend says, have coffee, what do? Go have coffee.
Yes.
So I went there and we started talking, and she asked me some very question, how are things? And you see, when somebody asks you how are things, I answered back, I said, well, I'm okay, I'm working too many hours. And you see, we have this standard thing. We work too much, we get paid very little. So that's the complaint I was doing, that I work too much. Yes, I get paid a lot, but I was working in the airport and the airline. But I didn't have time for my family. Mm-hmm. So she went, oh, I'm really excited because I have started working with an American company which is expanding and looking for some smart, hardworking, business-minded people. Now, in my mind, I was smart, I think I am. Hardworking, I thought I was all the time. Business-minded, I was not. I said, well, I'm not business-minded, but what do you do? So she opened her telephone and she showed me her online shop. She said, this is what I have, and I help people save money. I'm their consultant. I help them save money on their utilities, and I help others to make money helping others to save money. I said, how does that work? And she says, I have just started. I'm very new. I won't be able to give you the good explanation. And she started looking at her watch and she says, and I have to go very quickly. So I will send you the address and the time of the place where we have a training course so you can come and ask all the questions. And she left immediately. And I was like, she didn't even say anything. And she just left. And we were supposed to have coffee, and we had the coffee, and she left just like, oh. And I was like, wow. So then she sent me a message to go to a training on Saturday. So I went to a training on Saturday, and I was sitting there. We were 4 people, and I was one of them. So I started looking at the presentation from 1 to 10 in those days. And in my head, the only thing came to was like this. Everybody has to pay for a telephone bill, yes and yes. And somebody is making the money, yes and yes. And I can be that person who will be making the money. So to me, it was very simple because I understood like this, that we have a career. ACN is a standard. I mean, at that time, it was 17 countries. So it is a company which is standard, and it is you can make a career out of it. So for me, it was like going to Air Force. I see the business, number one. Can I do it? It is only a question of me learning. So for getting trained, I need a few ingredients. And I started thinking, I said, the first ingredient I need is a classroom. So we have 4 people sitting in this room, so this could be my classroom. You need some class fellows who can help each other. So the people who are sitting in that training, we are class fellows, so it is okay. That's two. I said, when I pay 399 euros, I register myself for a training course and they provide me the material, which also includes a web shop. That's the way my mind was working, that I'm registering for a training and they provide me the material on the web shop and all the material. So that is stated. That's number 3. Number 4, there is a teacher who's training you. And the only 5th thing I needed was a tutor. I mean, some mentor who's going to teach. So I asked a simple question. The person sitting next to me, I said, who is going to be my tutor? Who's going to teach me? And he says, this woman in front of you. Now that woman, I asked a very simple question. I said, is she married? Because of course, my father told me, son, if you're going to stay close to a woman, first find out if she's married. Otherwise you could get into trouble. So, and he said, no, she's not married. I went up and I asked the woman, I said, they told me I have to stay close to you for learning this business. How close can I stay? And she says, it depends on you. So we stayed so close that we finally married her. So she's my wife now. It's Miriam.
Amazing person.
But the thing is that, of course, I mean, I saw the business, but I was too busy. That was my first problem. The second thing was I was coming with lots of information from other fields. And a lot of information from other fields was making me not move forward. Mm-hmm. So 3 months into this thing, and Miriam tells me, she says, let's go to Nice for learning the business from the best of the best. So I told her, I said, do we have to go? And she asked me a simple question. She says, would you prefer to go to a local school or would you prefer to go to Oxford? And I'm like, well, I would prefer to go to Oxford. She says, well, that's where we go. Mm-hmm. I said, fine. And we took the car and we went to Nice. That was my first international in June of 2007. Mm-hmm. And when I went there, I mean, I saw all these people, excited people and everything. But one of the most important things I saw the promotions of RVPs and SVPs, and I saw the people who were going on the stage and saying something. And to me, it was like, if these guys can do it, I can do it also. I've got 4 degrees, I speak 6 languages, and money is not my issue. I'm not into this business for money. I know how to make money. But what I was coming in was for something different. I wanted to have more time to myself, and I wanted to have some independence. Mm-hmm. And I was 50 at that time. And to me, it was like, I'm already 50, and soon I'll be retired, and I want to do something because I consider myself happy. Anyway, I sat there, I took lots of notes, and I learned one lesson. The lesson was, I don't have to be smart. I just have to look for some people who think they are smart and put them in front of the smart people. That's it. So that has been my rule in my head. I always say, I said, I don't want to be right. I want to be happy. Mm-hmm. You see, so I let people be right. So anybody who thinks they're smart, I tell them. So when I was coming back, I mean, I was fortunate that I met Mr. Mike Kupich and Mr. Craig Provenzano during this period. And it was because Art Napolitano was our upline. So he arranged it so that I could go and meet them. And I told Mike something very simple. I said, Mike, I've now seen the business. I'm in for it. But I don't want to waste the time. Could you tell me the strategy? And he gave me a very simple strategy. He says, Bash, always look for your next position. Always look for your next position. And I made it. I still remember during that training, there was Mr. George Saduki. He was also giving the training, and there was a few words which stayed with me. And George in that training said something. He says, you cannot eat an elephant in one go. You've got to eat it bit by bit. So I'm just giving you some examples that I've followed constantly. So the first thing was, I had to find people who are smarter than me or who think they are smarter than me. Mm-hmm. You see, I don't have to be smart. So, basically I started calling the people and I said, all my friends, I told them, look, I have seen this business. I have not understood exactly how it would work. I need your favor. Can you come and help me decide if it is something good idea? And they said, what is it about? I said, I knew what it is about, I would not call you to come. And there was, you are always stupid. I said, yeah, I know. Why don't you come? So I started having people come. And I am still saying the same thing to everybody. I mean, I'm still telling the people, because you see, there's something recent. I mean, right now I'm sitting here, I have no pens. Even if I had the pen of an SVP, someone who's not in the business doesn't know what is an SVP. For example, the French people, they look at SVP and they say, s'il vous plaît. So, you see, so it's the language we use in ACN is not the language which is understood by everybody in reality. So basically, when I'm meeting people around, I'm just another businessman. And since I know a lot of people, they have this hang up over the businessman, so I started learning the power of words. And the power of words, one of the things I've learned is, you've got to say the thing in such a way that people understand, because what you say, you could mean something, and what people understand could be something totally different. So you don't know what they're understanding.
Can you give us
an example?
Yes.
Yeah. So for example, I mean, I have started telling the people I work with an international company. So I work with an international company. You see, I'm not working for them. I don't tell people that I'm a businessman. I say I work with a company. Mm-hmm. Now, people can understand that either way. So, I mean, and they say, if somebody asks me, how do you work? I tell them I'm a distributor. Depending on the person, I tell them I'm a representative. Or depending on the person, I just tell them I work for them. I mean, so that's what I do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I normally tell the people I work with an international American company. I am in charge of expansion. I use these words. Mm-hmm. I said, and we work online, e-commerce, on social marketing. And when people want to know the details, instead of showing them the presentation, I show them the online shop directly. Mm-hmm. I show them the shop. I show them the shop, all the countries they have. And I tell them, I said, all we do is we give codes to the people to analyze if we can help them save money. The people who are not saving money, we add them into future possible prospects and companies. So we try to do that. Otherwise, we help them save the money. Do I get lots of people? Yes, because one of the things that happens going to international events, I mean, that's what I believe. As to me, it was like, the more you go to the training, the better you will become. Because you keep on adding and finding out new things, etc., etc. So every time I go there, I try to learn something new. Or sometimes, you see, there's so much information that if you don't repeat it, you tend to forget it.
Yes.
So it's always, you got to keep on repeating. And I know that from my airline business. You see, just this morning, I was telling Miriam, I said, why do you think we had to go back to the simulator every 3 months? I mean, why did we have to go to do, I mean, I'm already flying an aircraft. I'm already flying an Airbus. I am flying it every day, but yet every 3 months, every 6 months, they send me to a simulator.
Wow.
And yeah, and I have to keep on going to that class again and again and again and again to learn the standard operating procedures, which means there are certain things which are called the standard operating procedures. You do not invent them, you do not change them. It has to be done like that. That's the way it is. I mean, you cannot change the theory of flight. You see, you cannot change the things which the ailerons and all that stuff is supposed to do. You see, I mean, so if we understand that little detail, I mean, if we take the car, we know the steering is supposed to do something, it will always do the same thing. The steering will steer something. So you don't change them. You don't invent those things. Now you can improve it. You can do something else, but the basic rule is very simple. So I learned a few basic rules. Number one, we just have to do three things. Number one, we have to make a few customers. I mean, we don't have to make a lot of customers. We just have to make a few customers. Now, if we just have to make a few customers, we might as well get them done as soon as possible. And then if we make more customers, we make more money. But the requirement is a few customers is the requirement. So I first go for the few customers and then I keep on going for more. It's okay. The second thing is I just have to find 6 leaders. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you see me? Yeah. 6 leaders. I just have to find 6 leaders to who can, what do you say, who can help me move the business.
Yes.
Now, if I'm looking for 6 leaders who have to look for business, how long will it take to me to select these 6 leaders? I choose. A lot of people, they say, we have to choose. I don't have to choose. I select. I mean, I select everybody. Everybody is selected to become a leader. Now, the question is that person going to prove himself to be a leader or not? So you have to prove guilty for me to kick you out. Let's put it this way. So I take it granted. I mean, this is what you have to do. Some people will be fast and some people will be slow. Now, a lot of times, the second thing I heard, people who know how to do the business, people who are motivated, they don't need my help. They don't. All I have to do is leave them alone and they will figure it out. I just have to be there for those who need my help. I cannot push anybody. So I have to find 6 leaders. I have to find a few customers. And I have to train to train. I have to train people to train. Now that does not give a few and that does not give a single number. It says train to train, which means the more I train, the better I can train. Which means, what is my constant job in this company? I mean, look at Miriam and I. We found our 6 people in the first 1 year when we were together. We found the first 6 in the first 1 year. Now, if somebody says, wow, you're so quick. Yes, sir. We had a discipline. Our discipline was like this. Every day, I mean, it's those little process. We have to add 10 people to our list every day. Add 10 new contacts. How do you find those contacts? We find those contacts on Facebook. We find those contacts while walking. I mean, different ways, different abilities you learn. It's just adding those contacts. We are not doing anything else with them. We are just doing friendly. So that was like 10 for me, 10 for medium. We were doing 20 of them. Then we have to do at least 10 presentations. And we were doing it constantly. And we're still doing it.
Are you talking about 10 presentations a day?
Yeah. So we would do PBR, but our presentations are not 1 to 10. Our presentation is just what I said. I'm working with a company. This is what I do. And this is weekend. And when they want some more detail, we'll tell them, if you come on Saturday, you'll get the training. Because it was a question of doing a lot of it many times, and some would stay. But if I stay there to explain to people a lot, it takes a long time. So we did quickly. So we made it like a mini thing. As a metro.
How long will be that presentation?
Like 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I tell people who I am, what I was looking for, what I found. I mean, there are 6 questions I answer. What, when, where, why, how, who. What, when, where, why, how, who. So I tell them who I am and what I was looking for why I was looking for, what I found, how I'm doing it, and where do I work. That's what I do it. I mean, quick questions. I show them the online shop because that's the whole thing. And I give them an explanation. I do not give them the explanation of 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. I give them an explanation. If I'm working alone, my business works for 1 hour, and maybe I can find one customer. If I have 10 people working in my business, we all work for 1 hour. It's 10 hours of business, and we find 10 customers. But if I have 100 people working together, we all work for 1 hour, but in reality, in 100 hours are being worked, and so this is the way I explain to them. I said, how big can you make your team? I let this thing go to the imagination. I've learned that people have this wild imagination.
Yes.
Everybody has their way of understanding and thinking. So I do it like this, and I show them this thing, and I show them the video. If at all I have time and somebody is very curious, I show them the ACN presentation video, which is about 4 or 5 minutes. That's it. And then my whole idea is to get the person to the next training, whichever it is. For example, in Madrid, we've got it on Thursday evenings, and we have another one on Saturdays. So I get them to Thursdays, Saturdays when I'm in Madrid. But since now I move a lot, so I'm never in one place for one whole day. I mean, today I'm in Palencia, tomorrow I'll be in Madrid, and some other day I'm somewhere else. So it's like an average of 4 different places a week is what we move. Like I'm here today, and Miriam is in Palencia, another city today. And tonight I'm going to go back home. She'll come back tomorrow. And then day after tomorrow, she's going to somewhere else, and I'm going to somewhere else. So we also divide and move a lot.
That's amazing.
And so the third thing is the training. The part which is constantly is the training. The training part is, what is it that I need as far as training is concerned? I need information. I not only need information as far as the products are concerned and all that stuff, which is necessary. I need information on how to my mindset, because a lot of us, we do not have enough mental capacity. We emotionally, we get set down. So to me, it was certain things. If somebody says no, what do I lose? Nothing. So I'm not losing anything. So if I'm not losing anything, it doesn't make any difference. That's the basic thing. So once I've accepted that reality, that by no means I'm not losing anything. So it is a question of, if you're going to join me, you will add to what I have. But if you don't join me, you will not take away what I have. What I have, I have. You're not taking it away. But if you come, it's going to add up. And together we'll be able to make it. So I'm providing you a positive proposition. So people like that. I mean, do people, I would leave it like this. I said, if you come, we'll both do big things. If you don't come, it doesn't matter. I'll do it myself.
Yes. I will find something anyway.
Yeah. So people are like, okay, how do you do it? And then what is needed by the people is the training. I mean, the better training system you can make, or the better training system. There are 2 ways of organizing the training. Number 1, you have a training system in your area. Just plug it. That's easy. If you don't have a training system in your area, you better make one. Make one quickly. Now, we do have all these Zoom trainings, etc., etc. But I also believe strongly in physical interaction. I mean, people like to touch and people like to feel. And now, you and I were sitting there. Yeah, of course, we can talk to each other. But it's altogether a different feeling when you're sitting there. And yeah. So I believe in. And then the second thing is that I simply made the rule. I mean, that was the rule. I said, it doesn't make any difference to me how many people I'm training and who am I training or who am I helping. Because of course, sometimes it was a question of like, I don't have time for anybody else. I only have time for myself. I was too busy doing my things. And then I read in a book, and it says, if you help many people, many will help you. You help a few people, few will help you. If you are so selfish as to you only help yourself, you will be left alone to help yourself. Nobody else will help you. So, yeah. So, I mean, to me, it was like, okay, I don't mind. I'm going to help everybody because, I mean, everybody will help me one way or the other. And that has happened to us constantly. And now, for example, it's been 12 years. It's going to be 12 years in June. And my first 3 months, I was part-time. We hit team coordinator in those days, where it used to be now in 3 months. And then I took leave without pay for another 3 months. And in 6 months, our business was running enough that it needed more attention. And in my case, I mean, I'm fortunate because I had the possibility of going back to my job because it's a very highly specialized job. Not many people have the same qualification. And I still keep on getting the calls and things. I mean, people calling, hey, are you free? Can you, we need you, and this. And in that world, there's permanent job things also, and there are temporary jobs also. I haven't gone back to airline anymore. It's been 12 years now. The only thing I've done sometimes is go rent a plane and fly. Somebody asked me, how can you rent a plane? I said, people rent cars, we rent planes, so sometimes you can do that.
Yeah, of course.
And this is what we've been doing. I mean, we hit senior vice president in 3 years. We hit Circle of Champions in 1 year, and it was like a year and a half. And it's been great. It's been great. But the exciting part of the whole thing is, at that time, we were very few companies, like 26 companies in ASEAN. Now it's more than 200. I mean, worldwide. I mean, think about it. In Spain, we only had fixed line. Now we have fixed line. We have all telecom stuff. We have all energy stuff. We have insurance. In Spain, we have insurance.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. When they launched insurance in Spain, they said, can you imagine if this thing goes well in Spain, how it would change the whole world? I mean, how many cars have insurance? How many people have medical insurance? How many people have, what do you call this? Civil insurance. People have this, every kind of insurance, life insurance.
Yes. That's amazing. It's huge potential.
Yeah.
I would like to.
So this is, yeah. Ask me. I mean, now
because you said like every day you're trying to add your lead, either online or offline. How do you approach them? Because I think many people get, how am I gonna find?
You see, I mean, the very important thing as far as to making contacts is you have to show interest in somebody else, not in yourself. So everybody likes that they should be praised for something.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, if I go to a place where people go with the name tags, you see, everybody likes their own name.
Yes.
So if I see Marius, I say, hi, Marius, thank you very much. I mean, Marius only serving me a cup of coffee. And I go, Marius, thank you very much from my friend. And suddenly he feels good. Yes. And the moment he answers me smilingly, I say, by the way, how long are you working here? You see? And then it's one of those things. I mean, depending on sometimes I said, keep doing what you're doing with this attitude of smiling face and you'll go a long way. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, I'm telling that person, but I'm giving importance to the person. That's how I meet it. Then, for example, if I'm walking on the street, that I do a lot. I mean, that I do a lot, you see. And if I'm seeing somebody coming in front of me, so I start smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at the face of this person and I'm smiling, but I'm doing as if I'm smiling at you. But if I see that you do not smile back at me, I just cross my gaze further to you as if somebody behind you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you smile back at me, I just ask a simple question. I say, I think I know you. Where do I know you from? Now, I don't know the person. I'm thinking I know you. And that person says, I don't know. And I said, have you been there? It's like, start the conversation. And even if in the end it goes like, no. I said, what? I'm sorry. I said, by the way, my name is Bash Bokhari. I work with an American company and we are expanding in the area. So I'm here to look for some smart, hardworking, business-minded people. So thank you very much. And he said, wait, what do you do? You see, so I've already pitched my word.
Uh-huh.
If the person is interested, they ask automatically, they return. It takes less than 30 seconds to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that a lot. I add up the list. I added the list on, for example, we travel a lot. So whoever is sitting on the next place, next seat, or et cetera. Today, for example, in the train from Madrid to Palencia, I was in the train for 1.5 hours. I changed my seat like 10 times. So I went from I would sit down and start a conversation, and then I would ask, excuse me, and I would get up and go to the next and go to the next. So I'm moving. People don't know what I'm doing, but I'm adding up the people.
That's amazing.
If you don't have any other place, get yourself into a gym regularly, go to a gym regularly. But basically, one has to be friendly. First thing is to be friendly. If you're friendly, everything is going to happen. And the most interesting thing is, look at the face of the person. He's a smiling face. You're good. That's the way we do it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I really appreciate all your advices. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you have one more thing that I will ask you to would be, if somebody, what will be the do's and don'ts, things that they should do, they should focus on, or things that they should avoid? What would you say?
You're talking of the new people?
Yes.
Well, you see, the thing is, it's not what you should avoid and what you should not avoid. There are certain things, this is what you should do, and whatever else you should not do.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to do very few things. We don't have to do too many things. For example, step one. If somebody new is coming, it's step one, register yourself, activate your shop, and make a list of the contacts. Now, when we tell the people to make the list of the contacts, a lot of time we tell them to go home and make the list. Now, if I'm the sponsor, I would like to sit down and make the list at that point. I want to take out those 10, 20 people right now, and I can call them immediately to make a list. So if somebody tells
them, who is calling?
No, they call in my presence.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, they'll call and they say, hey, John, I've just started working with a company and I'm sitting with my supervisor. I tell them people understand the supervisor.
Yes.
And we are expanding and we're looking for some people he wants to talk to. And they just give it to me. I said, just give it to me. Even if the other person, when I go, hi, John, I'm Bash Bokhari. Do you have a minute? So I'm the one who's asking the minute. When can I see you, John? Or something like that. So it depends how I am there. Now that's my way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you explain something on the phone? You will say, yeah, but can you tell me more? Or you say, no, you want to meet?
No, I don't, when they say, can you tell me something more? I say, well, we are in the e-commerce market. Do you know what's that? Do you know social marketing? What's that? I said, social marketing is like Facebook. So I use the common words of our business. I do not use specific words of our business. Common words. You see, for example, I do not, depending on the situations, I use, in Spain, for example, I said, I work with Mafre, that's a big insurance company. I work with Mas Mobile, that's a big mobile company. We work with Movistar, that's like AT&T in Spain, but we work with them in Colombia. So I don't tell them what's the company's name, because technically I'm an independent representative of ACN. So my company's name is Bash Bokhari. My company's name is not ACN. ACN is, I represent them.
Yes.
You see? So it's like somebody asked me a question one time, and I said, recently some IBO asked me a question. I said, look, I was working in the airline, and all airlines, they use different operating systems, and one of the operating systems is called Amadeus. I said, but airlines don't go around and say we work for Amadeus, whereas all the airlines use Amadeus.
Yes.
For distribution of passengers and reservation and operation system. You see, so I told them, I said, we are just like that operating system. ACN is just an operating system. All the companies, they use ACN operating system that is provided to the distributors. So indirectly, we are independent representatives through ACN. ACN is responsible with the providers, the partners. So ACN does the partners there, and we does the partner with ACN. So indirectly, we have become partners with the other providers also. Yes. To explain it to the people is difficult. One has to understand and put it into simple words. Simple word is, I work with companies like Mafre. I work with companies like AT&T. Of course, I work with them. How do I work with them is different.
Yes.
You see? Now, do I tell that to everybody? No. I don't tell. I mean, you classify there.
Exactly. You said there are a few things that they need to do.
Sign up, make the list. Okay, I make the list. I call the people. My call is only for the sake of curiosity to sit down with the person. That's it.
Yes.
Nothing else. So I make a list. I call to meet. I mean, everything has a reason to it. I make the list to call. I call to meet. I meet to show. I show to inform. I inform to start.
That's amazing.
I start to train. So now, if I know what I'm doing it for, I just keep myself to there.
From link to link.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I'm calling to meet, my idea is not to inform. My idea is to meet. Hey, what you doing? When do we meet? I'm meeting. You know?
Yes.
So I want to meet you to show you something. What do you want to show me? I can't tell you. That's why I want to show you. I mean, those are sort of things what one has to keep in mind. If I want to show you something, how can you tell me? I can't tell it to you. Once I show you what it is, then you have questions. I only answer your questions. I inform you about the thing you are not clear about. A lot of time we start telling the people a lot of things which are not necessary. So why not limit ourselves to the capacity of the person who's asking the question?
Yes.
I mean, so I've shown him the business. I said, do you see the business? Yeah, okay. Would you like to be part of this business? No, I have questions. What question? And when they ask a question, we have to be concrete, to the point. You see, sometimes we think that other person is so stupid, we need more explanations. In reality, the people are smart.
Yes.
So if they don't understand, they will ask us. So it's not necessary There are two things we should avoid. One, we should not jump to conclusion of thinking this way. People start asking a question and I feel I have already know what he's going to ask, whereas that's not true. I should have patience enough to listen to what is the question. First one.
Exactly.
Second, when I've heard the question, I should be short to the point answer, not go around, because confused people will not do anything.
Yes. Powerful.
So, I mean, yeah, so it's only these steps. I mean, we don't have anything. List to call. Call to show. Show to inform. Inform to start. Start to train.
Yeah.
7. No more.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and teach us. That's amazing. We really appreciate your help.
Thank you very much for Arias. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you for inviting me. And please, I mean, if you have anything in Madrid, in Spain, especially, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. You see, you have all these Latins and Colombians and everybody in the United States who must be having contacts here. So just send them to me. We'll do the job.
We are waiting for you in Chicago one day.
Well, we'll do that some one day. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.